Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Lily, and today's video is, I don't even know what to call it. It's just gonna be very unscripted. Let me tell you what the topic is: fuck boys that don't grow up, okay? I didn't plan on doing this video at all. It just came to me because honestly, when you think you're done with one, you're not. My advice to you, whoever's watching this and whoever's impressionable, just don't fall for it. Don't fall for any of their games because it's not worth it. Okay? Like, once you just avoid it at all costs. That's my honest opinion to you, because it's not worth the hassle. It's not worth your time. It's not worth anything, to be honest with you. I honestly just decided to make this video just because I got irritated, and the reason why, I'll go into it in this video. But like I said in the beginning, you think you may be done, you think you're over it, you might have blocked some, you might have like stopped talking to them for a while, but no, they'll still come, even when you don't want them to. So I'll just move into my story time because that's what you're here for. So this happened like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and this one guy hit me up. And this thing ended like 2 years. It's going on 2 years, if not more. I don't care enough to remember, honestly, at this point anymore. Like that's over. So, okay, this video is just gonna go everywhere. But before I forget, I want to like go into this now, even though like it's supposed to be for later. But I know, knowing me, I'll forget and just talk about something else completely. But this one guy that got me into such a bad mental place, those mind games and giving you one impression of things being different and then actually doing the complete opposite when you said you wouldn't do that. Okay, but just those mind games and saying that you're wanting something out of this even though it's not, and just completely physical, but all the time you're saying, oh no, like I do want something, a relationship out of this. Like, trust me, like it's not, I'm just not in it for that. I'm like, okay. Looking back at me now, like this little 18, 9-year-old girl, it's ridiculous because you don't really remember yourself in that moment. What you only think about is like you now, you think how you've changed, how you've grown as a person, how you've matured, when all these meanwhile are still like, they could literally be a married 30-something-year-old guy that's still in that lane, but you're all the way up here, like no one can touch you, right? But they're still in the past, thinking that you're still that same person, thinking that you're still going to fall for those games, even though you've already kind of talked yourself, grown as a person because of what they did. So that's kind of why I'm like, why do you still expect someone that was just figuring out themselves, just figuring out stuff that they wanted to do as their own person, like as a young adult, like you've barely even lived. Flash forward to almost 3 years, and here you are as this amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic human being. And you've grown. Like, you have to give yourself credit for that, because I know you even watching this are like, those relationships in the past made us who we are today. And like, we're still continuing to grow, yes, but seeing what that took from you, like those past relationships and everything, you changed so much in that short time. Or it could be like a long time, it could be like a year, like some people, but it's okay because that just shows like how much it took from you, sure, but also like what you gained from it. Like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, thanks for that. No, like, you suck for that, but you're like that new and improved you. So I think that's pretty cool. But going back to the story that I'm trying to tell you is that, guys, honestly, I haven't met any yet that actually learn from their mistake, one, or actually does grow up in that time that you're separated. And it's like, we were done with this. Why are you assuming that I'm still that same person? So we had our thing. It ended, like, I'm trying to remember just because, like, that was so long ago, and I completely blocked it from my mind after a certain point, because who wants to constantly be reminded of that? No one. Thanks. Bye. Going through stuff, or at least what you might have thought you were, seeing them, having like what you have with them, or maybe it was all up in your head, that I don't know. But then, like, once you find out about one lie, and then other things start happening, and once you dig deeper into what probably is the truth, that's when you start questioning things, because you thought it was one thing and then it turns out to be another thing. Like, that's just a big, like, slap in the face. It just was a lot of that, and then going and saying something else just to get more of that physical part of the relationship out of you. And then you do find out what it is, like what's been going on, kind of. Like, if the other person wasn't like completely into this 100%, and you find out there was someone else in the background lurking, yeah, that isn't fun. I don't recommend doing it, because if you are, then you're what the title is. That did hurt. And then even when confronted about it, they just try to sweep it under the rug. Nothing's going on. Oh, just a friend. Oh, this. Oh, that. You're thinking about it all wrong. You've got it all wrong. That kind of stuff. And then you go and check like a week afterwards, and oh, you can't find that person anymore? What's that, Facebook? Yeah, because you got blocked, but then they're still seeing you in person. So then it's like, what? I'm sure what you're thinking is, why wasn't that the one and only line that he could cross? That was me at a younger age. I had just been getting into this. I was just figuring out that part of me. So I can't tell you why. Like, that wasn't the one and only, like, we're done. I don't ever want to see you again. Just probably like that naive part of me, and just said, you know what, screw it. I believe it. I believe what you're telling me, so I'll keep doing this. And it just got to a point where too many questions were being asked. It just didn't work out, because I kept getting my feelings hurt. I kept feeling hurt, and I just felt like it just was a waste, and or not even waste, but that I had been used. And let me tell you, that is not a good feeling to have. Like, it just isn't. But thank you for trying to slide into my DMs, I guess, because that gave me the motivation to do this video, because I was long done with that. Thanks, I guess, but at the same time, no thanks, because I did not need to be having those memories. That was in the past. This is a new Lily. I don't get why people you might have fucked with before thinks it's okay after so long. Like, it's been how long since we've talked, since we've texted, and you're over here trying to slide back in my DMs for what? Mature a little bit, okay? I was watching something, and these relationship experts, they said, I'd heard this before too, a man or a guy, boy, whatever you want to call them, their maturity is like 7 years behind whatever age they're at right now. So if someone that you're with is 24 at the time, just a random example, if they're 24 at the time, that is like 17 years old. Why would you want to be with a 17-year-old? Like, what would he think with? And we all know the answer to that, okay? But that's exactly my point. Like, he's still not thinking with this yet. So why should you even open up this to him? We need to leave that behind. I'm mature. I know who I am. I know what I want as a person. If you're not, like, no, you're not worth my time. And that's what younger Lily didn't understand. She didn't understand that most guys aren't considerate enough to actually listen to you or just actually talk. That's enough for us that are mature, because honestly, sometimes we do just need to talk about stuff. We do need to actually voice our feelings, you know? And I think that's what a lot of guys don't understand, is that we're not wanting to play those games, okay? Like, that is so a teenager move. And I mean, I'm a newly 21. So you might be like, why should I listen to you? But that's the exact reason why you should listen to me, is I've been through it at a younger age. That specific age back then when I went through all this, I was still mature. Okay, I've always been more mature for my age, but that was a different age. I'm older now, a little bit older, not tremendously. I've learned from that and it's affected like how I am as a person and what I'm looking for. I'm not wanting like anything that's just not a complete relationship because like I'm over that. Like it burned me so often before. I wouldn't really want to go back to that same person because I know if another one were to happen as who I am right now, I know I would probably go back to that person that I was back then and I didn't really like that one. I didn't, just related to what we're talking about, just didn't have at that age, just not as much self confidence, self esteem, I would say. Or the biggest one would have been self respect. And it's kind of sad thinking about that just because you see how much of a different person you are, you see how much you've changed, and it's like, wow, I didn't think that I actually deserved better, that I would let people walk over me in that way. Like, my body is amazing. Like, I've hated on it before, but there are sometimes I still hate on it, but like, I shouldn't have neglected it then because of how much it's done for me. Like, you don't even know. Like, you would be thinking the most basic and essential things that body does for you, but no, like it's done so much for me. But let me read you the text because it was so out of the blue. First, was one friend request, and then I still didn't respond because I'm like, nope. Even changed the name of themselves to actually like try to be sneaky and send out two friend requests, right? And then after I wasn't responding to them, that's when a message came up. And on Messenger, I have it so that I can't really get or receive a message unless I like approve it or accept it. And from people that aren't friends of mine, pretty much. So I just was curious to see what it said. I shouldn't have even done that. The first one, hey, how have you been? And then after almost 20 minutes of me now responding, hope life has been treating you well. Almost like an hour and a half later, who is this? You might think like, why did you say that? They changed their profile name. So I wanted to be sure. I already had my suspicion that it was them, but I needed to be sure. Almost immediately after I sent that, they said their name, which I had already known. I just needed confirmation. Just wanted to see how you been. It's been a while. And then I think almost exactly after he sent that one, I was just thinking about you and was wondering if we could maybe talk on the phone sometime. I regret how I was the last time we talked and hung out. 2 dots. I don't know if the 2 dots were intentional because then I feel like it changes the meaning, like the overall meaning of it. It's been over 2 years at this point. No, like I was just so annoyed when I read that. One, you admitted it. You took the blame pretty much in our last group of texts when we had the thing going on. And you said how you had hurt me. You said you understood. You said you were sorry for how things ended and if I would like to try again. I didn't. You obviously didn't understand to be texting me back then because honestly, there's just one thing he wanted, okay? And I'm sure you already know what that was. So to be texting this one text saying, I regret how it was the last time we talked and hung out and just wondering if we could talk sometime. No, you don't regret it. And I'll tell you why he does it. That was one of them. And then here's the other one. And no, after reading that and I think not responding for a little bit, I texted back almost 3 hours later saying no. And Then this other text came in after I said that. Oh, okay, I understand. I know I really hurt you, so I get it. I was just hoping to start over. Is there a way we can? I can earn your trust and friendship. When I read that, I was like, no. Obviously, you don't understand. You don't understand to be texting me again after so long out of the blue. You don't know that you really hurt me, because then you wouldn't have sent me these texts or that first hate text in the first place. So, no. After that, he saw that I wasn't responding after reading that text, and I saw that this person is unavailable on Messenger. Big surprise. When we all know that it's not, okay? We know it's not. You only wanted one thing. The only thing that I regret was sending just that one worded text saying no. I was laying in my bed that night. I'm like, I was getting ready to type this long, huge thing. That's why I'm just over it. I'm over and done with it. It's ridiculous. But I wanted to make this video just to like show how little they think, or how little they think of you as a person, okay? Even after this time, like, what makes you think that I'm still wanting that out of people, like out of guys? Like, no, I'm not. I know that I'm worth more and I deserved better. So people do change. People like me do change for the better. We grow, because that's what good people do. We change our bad habits. Good people, to begin with, can change their bad habits. All those other people, I don't know. That's up to the person, but I'll say a lot of the time they don't, from my personal examples and experiences. Keep that in mind, please. Like, hopefully, like, this is watching someone that was my age around that time. So, like, ranging from 13 to 18, because that's like the one, age that like things just start changing for you. You feel like you're getting older, you feel like you're grown, but in reality, you're so not. And it's better to learn that now rather than later. So I'm doing you a favor. If you want to think of it as one, please do. If you don't, that's fine with me too. Like, learning it now is better than later, rather than having to deal with it like I did. That wasn't the only time. There was one that I still think about just because of things that might have happened during that. I hate that part of myself, that I can think about stuff so long, even after it's been done. That's one thing that I'm hoping will start to improve and get better with me getting older. It's better to like actually know you and love yourself. Start caring for yourself and start actually having self-love for yourself. You shouldn't try to have that as your last resort, is get that from guys. It's so not worth it. You need to find that love for yourself, because no one's gonna love you like you. And once you start having just a little bit, know that you accept better, and you'll try to then strive towards those good things. People can sense, and I feel like especially guys, if you have like little respect for yourself. If you're strong, they'll see that. If you're just more sensitive, don't open your heart too much, because they will be able to sense that. And that's when they know and they find out that they can start acting up. A lot of the ones that you'll probably run into, if you haven't already, you'll see, like, you'll witness it firsthand. I mean, I'm sorry, but you probably will. I think that's pretty much a given of, just finding out for yourself, like, what's out there. I wish I hadn't gone through the things that I did, but I did, and I learned from them. I think that's why, like, right now, I've been so happy just finding out, like, things that take care of me and make me feel happy, make me feel good about myself, because that, it's just amazing, because it doesn't feel as good like just caring and appreciating yourself for you and no one else, or hoping that someone else does it for you. That feeling is not as good. Like, it doesn't fill you with those happy feelings. It honestly just fills you with self-depreciation and just a lot of worthless feelings. But I'm just trying to hit you with the facts, okay? With my experiences. It's crazy how there can be someone older than you, there can be older guys than you, and they still haven't grown up. Like, I'm sure that there are good guys, I'm not trying to say that there aren't, that will treat their woman like the queen that they are. That was this video. I hope you took stuff away from it. Try to stop you from picturing guys and like, oh, that fairy tale type of way, like, oh my god, they're so good. That's not gonna always be the case. Share it with someone that really needs to hear this. If you did like it and subscribe, because you don't want to miss another video from me. I'll see you in the next one.